yeah, as we thought, there's E. coli in the sea. It's not great. Seeing it in black and
that's kind of the Buongiorno freaks and geeks, and welcome to another MKH reaction. And today we're going to be looking at a story that has been causing a bit of a stink in the UK. Pun fully intended. So apparently for years and years, UK water companies, the water companies that were privatized by Margaret Thatcher, were actually pumping raw human excrement into public waterways, where people like to go and swim, because going to the local swimming baths not only gets chlorine on your skin, but can be quite expensive once you have to take the children as well. So apparently campaigners have been going on about this for years. I would never know because I live in pollution-free London, obviously. But so apparently, going by this Guardian story, it says, perhaps it's an image that finally tipped the scales after years of downplaying calls to stop the scandal of raw sewage being dumped in UK's waterways. The government was forced into an embarrassing U-turn this week as drone footage, like, what were drones only, like, I don't know, invented in the last 2 years? You trying to tell me someone couldn't have got a drone like 10 years ago? The same drones that they used to like murder people in Iraq and stuff like that. You're trying to tell me they couldn't have got drones back then to show? And also, why did we need drone footage? Like, were we assuming that the people were just lying? They were just saying, yeah, there's floating poo in the water. Like, what? And why not a simple digital SLR photo? Like, why couldn't they use one of those? Like, I don't understand why they needed actual drone footage of like the water being pumped out. And basically it says here that the reason the government did a U-turn, and also this U-turn is not a complete U-turn. They're not telling these water companies, yeah, you need to stop pumping like baby shit into the water. They're basically telling these water companies you need to dial it back a bit. Like, come on guys, just dial it back. Like, you can still put poo in the water, but not at this scale. Like, I think I read somewhere 49 hours was, like, I think the length of time they were pumping constant raw sewage into this particular waterway. I don't know which particular waterway it was, but yeah, like the discharge, which is just a gross way. But then again, we're talking about gross raw sewage. Like, it was discharged for 48 hours over 2 days. Oh, god damn, that is awful. But yeah, so they say it's a U-turn, but I don't know how far this U-turn goes. And the only reason this is happening is because obviously the UK government hosted COP26, something I will go over in another video. Well, not specifically COP26, but one of the speeches. But anyway, today I'm going to be reacting to my good folks over at Byline TV. Like, they are basically the best people doing journalism in the country, in my view anyway, right now. Better than anyone. Like, I don't care if it's left wing, and even if it is left wing, it's better than any other left wing as a new media source on YouTube. So they've managed to tie this this well, it's not neatly wrapped, this nappy full of crap to Brexit. So that's what we're going to be I guess reacting to today. This video is called in speech marks, Brexit did this, beach destroyed with sewage. So yeah, let's give this a little twirl, shall we? Yeah, let's get into this.
Okay, so the results have just come in. It's not good. But because of Brexit, we had 7 hours of poo released into it just a few days ago.
It's not funny, but Jesus Christ. The 7 hours of one man's constant diarrhea poo just being leaked into the waters around this beach. I wonder where this is.
And to know that it's happening everywhere in the UK. I love the sea. Days like today where it's wild, you respect it. We're a coastal country. The sea surrounds us. It's what we are.
So this is Dover. I've actually been there. I've actually walked past this to get to my car to drive away. No, this isn't Dover. Is this Dover? I've gone to these. I don't know. We'll see.
About. It needs to be protected. It should be protected, but it isn't being protected. Being in the sea and its silky touch, even when it's absolutely biting cold.
I do love the dramatic music that they're using. I wonder how many years this woman has been tasting poo while swimming in these wild waters. And does she just leave her stuff there? and is this like these green boxes? Is this a new addition? But since she knows she's definitely tasting poo.
So I'm going to need my my assistant. This is a good.
I don't know how effective the gloves are going to be because, as we saw, like the water's a bit wild and it can just splash up into your glove. So, is that performative, or is it kind of counterintuitive to have pooey gloves? And is that a flask she usually drinks out of? That is. I hope this is like an official flask, shall I say, that she uses separately. Like she has a flask for her coffees and her teas and her soups, and this is a flask that is designated to just collecting pooey water.
Bottle of test water though. This bottle will go off to our lab and then we'll get the results back.
Wait, she has a lab? Wait, is she a scientist? I'm going to have to read. Let me just quickly read the description to see who this woman is. Support, special thanks to. Okay, they just show their patrons. Maybe they'll give her credit at the end of this, or the end of this video, because that's amazing. She has her own lab.
Okay, so the results have just come in.
Wait, what is happening? Was that a cut? Did we have like a jump cut? Is this like days later? It must be. Let me just go back a bit. This must be days later. It must be days later, because was she wearing completely different clothes? Oh yeah, she was wearing completely different clothes when she went there and picked up the pooey water. And now they should have said like,
to our lab.
If I was editing this video, I would have said like 3 days later or something.
And then we'll get the results back. Okay, so the results have just come in. It's not good.
Do you know what that was like? That was, you know, that meme of Andy Burnham, the Manchester mayor. Like, Jesus Christ, this will not do. This will not do.
Yeah, as we thought, there's E. coli in the sea. It's not great. Seeing it in black and
that's kind of the understatement of the year, I would say. I wonder where I hope they tell us. I hope they tell us where this is.
It's not great. Seeing it in black and white is completely affirming. It's terrible. The United Kingdom is surrounded by this beautiful thing, the sea, but we're not protecting it.
No, because we would rather protect our borders. We don't care about the sea. We don't want to protect the sea. We want to protect our borders from, I don't know, economic migrants coming in rubber dinghies and EU citizens trying to come here and work. That's what we like to protect ourselves from, not E. coli in the sea that surrounds us, because we are an island.
You know, we had 7 hours of poo released into it just a few days ago. And if that's what our rock pools and the chalk reef is like, that's what they're having to live through. It would be like walking through a kind of a lovely forest glade with tampons and sanitary towels and wet wipes hanging from the branches and sort of wafting past your face. It's unpleasant.
Or it could just be walking through a lovely forest and like you've got strings of toilet paper with poo hanging off the end. Why did it have to be tampons and other stuff she listed? Like, it's just walking in a rainforest and finding poo. I would have got that.
It's dangerous. It's not acceptable. We're going to go back to the dirty old days. Sewage releases are happening not just all around the coast, but all across the country. There are, or were, laws protecting the sea, and to know that it's happening everywhere in the UK. In 1976, we had the EU Water Directive, which protected us and made the UK government keep that out there clean and improved it for us all. We don't have that anymore. So when I was a kid, you know, you just didn't even think about it. Spending time in the water was...
Like, I know people keep saying, oh, well, like, we need to make... the reason we left the EU is because we want our own laws made by our own politicians. But as we've just seen, sometimes you need someone else to come in and tell the UK government, yo, like, you're literally polluting the water around you. Like, what are you gonna do about it, boss man? That's what sometimes needs to happen, especially when you have a conservative government which is basically, especially now, basically at the mercy of rich people and capitalists. So, like, if it's cheaper for these water companies which were privatized under Margaret Thatcher, if it's cheaper for them to just dump, and it is, if it's cheaper for them to just have a pipe that leads out to the sea, they're going to use it instead of getting rid of it in an ethical manner. Yeah, that's the long and short of it. Yeah, being ethical is not a inexpensive route to take.
We don't have that anymore. So when I was a kid, you know, you just didn't even think about it. Spending time in the water was joyous. But just recently they've relaxed the legislation. The government have pulled back on the legislation and have said to the water companies, yeah, you can go and release sewage, raw sewage, into the sea whenever you like.
Okay, was this a recent thing? Is this since we've come out of... Oh yeah, it must have been since we come out of Brexit, but it seems like it's been going on for a little while, because campaigners have been at it for a little while, going by that Guardian, what's it called, Guardian article, and I'll link it in the description below. But yeah, if this is not because of Brexit, like, I don't know what is. This is like the clearest sign that...
When at our local beach cleans, we were finding increased sewage related debris, and surfers were finding that they were getting sicker, and we were, as sea swimmers, were finding that we were getting iller and sicker.
Yeah, because you're swallowing another person's excrement. And sometimes that excrement might be pure diarrhea. Like, what? And that's another reason why I never go in the sea. I mean, if I could go to a local swimming bath where there's chlorine in the water and watch, well, I don't personally watch, but just knowing that there are adults and children in there weeing themselves, and you have to like dive in that water and take in that water, you think I'm gonna go into the sea where people probably do that with absolute abandonment and just rampantly? Like, no way.
That something's happening. I've had terrible stomach bugs, you know, knocking me out for days and days and days. And I work in paediatric NHS, so, you know, I can't take time off. The EU.
Oh, okay, she works for the NHS. That makes sense why she just has a lab on tap, then, I'm guessing. Unless she got a favour from a friend.
You have lovely, lovely clean beaches. Sure, they have some issues in some places when they have emergencies, but in comparison to the percentage of rivers and seawater clean beaches here, it's vastly different. The reason why the government relaxed legislation on releasing raw sewage into our sea is because they can't get the chemicals to treat the raw sewage to the water companies because there aren't enough lorry drivers. And the reason there aren't enough lorry drivers is because we don't allow foreign people to work in the country anymore.
Oh my God, the plot just thickens. What? That's almost blown my absolute head off. You mean to tell me? So the EU law that was passed in, well, the EU in 1976 said to the UK, yo, keep your seas around you. Even if you don't care about the seas around you, we care about the seas around you. Keep it clean. Let's say that law, we didn't need to abide by it anymore, which basically is the case because we left the EU. So the chemicals that these private companies were using to clean the water, or chemicals to get rid of the raw sewage, has stopped reaching their hands because of the HGV driver shortage we actually have in this country right now, which is a direct result of Brexit, no matter however you want to spin it. Like, we're 100,000 drivers down, HGV drivers. And then another thing about that HGV driver shortage, it turns out bus drivers are putting their bus driving license in the shredder and moving over to being a HGV driver because there's more money there. Can you imagine if there's more money in that and there's 100,000 person shortage in vacancies? Can you imagine how little bus drivers get paid? Like, this country is on its knees right now. This is unbelievable. So let's say we plug the gap for the HGV drivers, there's gonna be a massive gap in bus drivers. And I tell you what, being a former bus driver myself, if there's 100,000, actually, I think when I was still bus driving, at the garage I was at, I think there was 100 driver shortage anyway. But let's just say like 100,000 across London, 100,000 vacancies across London. You're never going to be able to fill those because there's such a revolving door when it comes to bus driving, because the conditions are just, it's terrible because they've all been privatized. TfL doesn't own the bus routes anymore. They've tendered them out. They've commissioned all these private companies to do it. It's nuts. So Brexit is seeping into every facet of this country, and people are still saying, nah, it's great. Like, we're going to get, well, we might get benefits in 50 years, but even if we don't get benefits in 50 years, at least we create our own laws now. We have all our own laws. This is fantastic. Like, who cares who's suffering? Who cares what type of benefits the EU was bringing? I tell you what, one thing I learned when I was at law school was that if you hate the EU let's say you hate the EU for everything, there's one thing that the EU brought to the UK which the UK never implemented, and that was rights for women in the workplace. Like, you can look it up. Like, the UK was not doing that by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, that is like, if you are a woman, you should be on the side of the EU purely for that, just for the rights in the workplace. Anyway, I think I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, no drivers to bring the chemicals to sort out the raw sewage. So let's just pump it out into the sea and the waterways. But this is not a recent thing. This can't be a recent thing because campaigners have been going on about this for years. But anyway.
Because of Brexit, we don't have the chemicals. I mean, a lot of people will argue that it's not because of Brexit.
But those people are wrong. I'm sorry. Like, just because you say something is so doesn't mean you're correct. I could say the sky is red. Definitely doesn't mean I'm correct. I could say the earth is flat. Doesn't mean I'm correct. I could say Boris Johnson is a faithful man. Doesn't mean I'm correct.
But nowhere else has a problem with it apart from us. So it's Brexit. I can't understand, because I do so much to protect the environment as a person, knowing that our government won't protect the environment that so many of us rely on and love. It's going to ruin tourism. I mean, that's one of my main worries. Is I don't want to see my local shops and businesses going under because nobody wants to come and spend time here. You know, I don't want businesses like this one here to be affected, but sure, of course they're going to be. If people know that there's sewage out there, they're not going to swim in it, they're not going to want to bring their, families down.
That is true. I think people will be more hesitant to go to seaside resorts, but I don't think it will slow them down just from lounging on the pebbles. But I don't know. Like, looking at this pull away shot right now, you look up there, like, these are boarded up already. So they are already losing business wherever this was filmed. So yeah, I don't think it can afford to be even further dire for this local economy. And that is the video. What a sexy little drone shot, pull away drone shot that was. It's so funny. Like at the beginning of this video, I was speaking about how it was a drone shot that really, I guess, cemented the fact that raw sewage was being pumped into waterways, and obviously wall-to-wall coverage in the media, which the media's like doing it performatively. Like, they don't really care. Like, the media does whatever gets it the most views and revenue in advertisement, and what gets people like watching them and stuff like that. But yeah, and synergy, is that secular motion? I don't know, but yeah. And we ended with a drone shot there, which was fantastic. I can't say enough good things about Byline TV. They are absolutely the best when it comes to reporting, but not only reporting, but reporting on stuff that directly are and will forever be linked to Brexit, and how we're going to be feeling the repercussions for this, from this act, from this decision taken by the British people back in 2016 for a very, very, very long time. Let me just see if there's any credits at the end of this. Bear me one moment.
In these dark times that we find ourselves in, it's...
No, so, yeah, we don't know where this was filmed. I don't even think we got her name, did we? Let me just check quickly whether we got the contributor's name. No. Maybe because she works for the NHS, she doesn't want people to find out where she works, and you know, like there'll be these rampant Tory voting Brexiteers that will try and get her fired because how can she work for the NHS, then go on a YouTube channel like this and speak the truth? This is not fair. This is Project Fear. This is Project Fear, even though it's happening right before our very eyes. This is Project Fear. Yeah. Dark times, my friends. Anyway, tell me what you thought about that video down below, and what else needs to be brought to the attention of the main, even I don't even like that term, but the mainstream media, because the reason I don't like that term is because it all depends, I guess. I think there's new media, like the stuff that we watch on YouTube, and then there's traditional media, the stuff you get on ITN and Channel 4 and BBC. So like mainstream media, I just feel a bit cringe and icky saying that. But what else is Brexit like? If Brexit is getting into has made the UK reach the point where we have to pump raw baby doody, baby poo-poo, raw caca into the actual seas, what else are we missing? And what else is Brexit making us like just sell our souls for? Like, tell me down below. Obviously, don't forget to like, subscribe. I should have said that at the beginning of the video as well. Oh well, I'm only human, and I will see you on the flip side. Also, actually, no, also I've put some other links in the description below. So obviously, join the Discord, check out my Patreon, and yeah, I'll definitely see you very soon. Bye bye.